Good morning, good noon, good evening. Wherever time and place you're listening to us from, straight from the 909, it's Mark, it's Andre, and it's myself, Isaiah, and together, that's hip-hop.
That's hip-hop.
I was early this time.
That's good, that's good. It changes it up, you know? That's this is going to be a very great episode because Andre had suggested that we cover a very iconic rapper who is, I feel like, who represents the early 2000s, you know, but he is definitely, don't get it twisted. He's definitely somebody who can still come back to this day and give a strong feature on anybody's track. And he can still probably deliver an album if you wanted to this day and still be good. And that is Luda. We're talking about Word of Mouth, an album released in November 2001, almost about 22 years ago now. And this album is just a full-length album, 19 tracks. I think there's a bonus track here, Welcome to Atlanta as well.
Yeah.
No doubt, this album was successful in its time. Very early on, just from its release, I know it was selling crazy loads, ridiculous amounts of records sold. It was
right
charting,
after Back for the First Time.
Yeah.
Right? It's the follow-up to Back for the First Time. Man.
Yeah, and a great follow-up. You see definitely a development here, building off of his first platform or first album. And he even was nominated for a Grammy for this album, losing to the Eminem Show.
For best album, best rap album?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm glad we're here today. I didn't think we would be covering Ludacris so early, but I'm glad that we are right now.
We kind of came up with the idea when we were watching Fast X.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I took Mark to see Fast X in 4D for the first time. And if you guys don't know, in 4D, your seats move around and shit. And if somebody lands in water, they spray water in your face. If it's snowing, snow falls from the sky. Like all this extra shit that doesn't need to happen.
If somebody gets punched, you get punched.
I'm glad I didn't get popcorn.
Right. No, he was like, yo, should I get some popcorn? I was like, nah.
These seats like shift around, and it's what better movie to pick where the seats move around forward, back, side to side than Fast X. Half of the time they're in the cars. Yeah. So it's already going to be like, if you already have like back issues, I recommend going to watch Fast X because you'll get cleared. You get a nice adjustment or two.
Yeah, there's some chiropractic work available.
Water splashes in your face. Yeah. And when they're doing snow effects, you'll see fake snow coming out of the sides. It's pretty crazy.
There was a couple next to us, and it was a guy and a girl. He might have been taking on their first date. Yeah. They had to leave.
Yeah,
they brought popcorn and cocktails, and the cocktails were flying. The popcorn was flying.
We thought it was water effect, but I was like, "Oh, this water effect tastes like tequila."
This water smells.
When they were leaving, I was like, "No, stay. I'm just
leave your cup, please. Leave your cup." But this couple had to leave out. But yeah, so while we were watching Fast X, we were just like, Luda. Well, yeah, why not?
Let's cover Word of Mouth. Luda came up. I was going to ask you, like, how did this come about? Because I was like, Luda.
Yeah,
we
were just watching Fast X.
I wasn't mad at that. I was like, we could cover Luda. I'm down to do Luda.
Word of Mouth was just that album, man. Honestly, it was. It was like Back for the First Time really like, it got the ball rolling, but I really feel like Word of Mouth was like a transformation. It was a transformation. It was just a whole different ball game. So I thought it was a perfect pick. Out of all of his albums, I just feel like Word of Mouth, something different happened on that one.
During the time when you were out of state, these albums started popping off. I want you to give us at least a perspective on what was going on and actually introduce the audience where exactly you were during around this time.
I happened to be in Atlanta around this time, pursuing my education, man. And Luda gets love in Atlanta, man. But the way that people bump albums in Atlanta is not how people out here bump albums. When you're in Atlanta, there's a lot less distance between people. So everywhere you go, they bump their music aggressively bump their music, right? So it was a lot of Outkast, a lot of Gucci Mane, a lot of Ludacris. And then when Ye dropped Graduation, for some reason, all of the A was just on Graduation. But Ludacris specifically, I just remember there was a lot of love for Luda. Anybody from ATL gave Luda love. And then I happened to go to a college where we had people from everywhere. So I was in Atlanta going to college at Morehouse. And we had people from New York. We had people from Canada. We had people from Africa, people from the West Coast. Everybody was in one space. And when it came to Luda, man, we just all agreed. He's just different. You know, there's no debate about Luda. You know, some people can go, oh, we like NWA, we like Dipset, right? And they could fight and argue about it. But when it came to Luda, it's like Luda was the best friend of everybody. Everybody. New Yorkers love Luda. You know, cats from Boston love Luda. Canadians love Luda. Luda always sit in that perfect pocket. And I think it's because his vibrant delivery, man. He's animated.
There's always going to be the best example that we can use out of video games. We're always going to use video games as our example.
True.
In every beat 'em up video game, there's always at least 3 types of people. You have your heavy, the gentleman with the brute strength. You have the other person that's super fast, but weak on strength. To me, and we all agreed together that Ludacris is the well balanced out of all those characters. And in terms, if we translate that to hip hop, he is the gentleman with the most consistent delivery on the performance stage, on the rapping stage, and even when he comes up with the maybe not improvisational freestyles, but the freestyles that he actually puts off, because he's starting to put off a lot of freestyles on social media too. Yeah, and those are dope.
Instagram, like a lot.
So
of
he's still doing that today too.
Yeah, that's TikTok. What we're saying. That's what we're talking about. Like he's doing a lot of dope little reels and shit.
He's definitely a gentleman that has it all checked out, all the stat boxes, at least to a great level.
Yeah. Pop sensibility with an underground flavor.
Yeah, I remember listening to him young in the early 2000s, and I just felt like he was like kind of doing his own, like he was his own force. Yeah. You know, like everybody could be doing their thing or whatever, but you're still going to have Luda in that realm. Like you're still going to have him there.
The 2 beats that I remember hearing a lot in middle school was Grindin' and Southern Hospitality. And, you know, the bridge that connects that is the Neptunes for both of those beats. But Southern Hospitality, I think, is the more like, so we got the Virginia grinding. We got the, you know, you put the pens on the little lunch tables. But with Southern Hospitality, if you had a system during that time, I would have loved to have been in something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Man, just deep bass.
For me, I remember Fantasy as being that big, you know, hit.
Played everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere, bro. And we're on the West Coast.
It's a good icebreaker, too. So, girl, what's your fantasy to say?
But, okay, so there you go. It's that song for women, but it sounds dope for men.
Yeah.
And it just works. It just works. And I feel like word of mouth just evolved where he was. It's like the graduation from Slim Shady LP to Marshall Mathers LP. I feel like Back for the First Time to word of mouth is the same level of skill increase, production increase, everything just leveled up perfectly.
A definite reinvestment lyrically, financially, as far as like getting production value up and everything. I could tell from listening to Ludacris's early like upbringing that he was definitely into reinvesting into himself. Yeah. Takes the 50 G's to make his first album that wasn't his first major label debut album, but then you could just see he just kept investing into himself, because even early into that, to get a beat from the Neptunes may have been pricey,
but it speaks a lot on your skill level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, for him to take the beats that he got from Neptunes, man, you know, pretty ass high class, anything goes. I mean, that kind of instrumentation was just unusual, man, but it landed and it worked. So, I mean, while we're here, because we're going to roll into it, Zay usually likes to bring in the album cover for discussion. And the album cover, in short, is just the cartoony aesthetic that Ludacris had and still has. He's still very cartoony for what he is. I felt like his whole run, as far as what he was as an artist, he always depicted him as some kind of cartoonish figure. Even the Get Back video, he's Popeye. Like his arms are huge and deformed. Stand Up, he's got, huge deformed foot that's bigger than anything. He has a midget as a chain for real. He likes that cartoony shit. So It looked like a midget is hanging from my necklace, and he has a real midget like fucking bobbing his head to the music.
And I think that's so much authenticity to him that no one can even try to duplicate that.
Yeah. I don't think people, and that's the funnier part about Luda is
because
like,
it's not even clown shit. It's literally just
shit.
him.
Yeah.
Doing like being one with the lyrics that he's writing, but still having that like the element of actual visual illustration of it.
It's kind of like Outkast in one guy because he can get away with shit that Andre 3000 would do, but he's as grounded and smooth as Big Boy.
Yeah, it's almost like stuff like Eminem could or would do.
As
well.
Yeah,
you know? But
or at least Eminem would get away with, right? Like Eminem could drop some of these jokey, cartoony joints that he does, and it would work in M's favor. But I can't see anybody in that Atlanta Southern space, right?
Yeah.
There was a stereotype at that time. So when you're Southern, I don't want to speak down on some RZA shit. I'm just saying like the South had a different perspective musically.
Yeah.
So we West Coast and New Yorkers, of course, we back and forth. So the South, we didn't even consider for the argument. And Ludacris would come in and really, Ludacris and Outkast would be those guys that come through and make you really consider, oh shit, South is here too. We got a problem with them as well. But Ludacris to me was like, as far as his lyrical spectrum is concerned, he had something like style and character and charisma. And a lot of cats don't have what he's capable of putting on a track, right? I like to think of the recording process, you know, because I could yell in the microphone, but you still got to tweak that shit to make it sound good. And Luda, to me, he puts so much power in simple words, right? Feels like a midget is hanging from my necklace. He puts all this soul in very small words and portions of his flow. So when you listen to Luda, man, he just sounds like a literal cartoon superhero.
Lyrical theater.
Yeah, lyrical theater, like an Avenger with bars or something, you know?
You see when voice characters in cartoon, like the voice characters that would do the voice acting for cartoons, you see how animated they are.
Yeah. He's as
I bet if we see him in this, well, even when we saw him in the Rap City, the freestyles that he used to do, he'd be more animated than a lot of rappers.
But his animation is not necessarily what you're looking at. It's how he speaks his words and how they're presented. And I think about people from the South, and it's like there is a demeanor that they have. It's more, you know, aligned with swag and coolness. And what Luda does is it's only cool for him. Like we can't do his shit. Like we already said it, but it's like Luda could really make a mama joke in a bar about how fat your mom is or something, and he'll make it really hilarious by how he says it. Another MC can't get away with what he does. You know, I don't know what the flavor is that Luda has, but it can't be duplicated. You know, it's like picturing somebody trying to dance like Michael. It's like we know you're doing Michael's dances. Luda, if you try to do Luda's flow, it's abundant that you're going to be doing Luda's flow because there's certain phrasing and words that Ludacris himself only uses, you know.
He's that one of one that you could tell.
That one of one, man. So for our three, man, so we could roll right into it. We started with Coming to America because it's just a solid opening to this album. We love. I guess what I'm learning personally from that podcast, man, is opening tracks matter. Whether you have an introduction and then the next track is, you know, your first rapped track. Most of the time, we're seeing the first track is the most important one. It keeps you here. It keeps you watching, you know, like video games that you want to use video games as an analogy. It's like a God of War, right? They give you all the powers in the world. You're blowing up entire, you know, civilizations, and then they strip you of your power after that, right? Yeah. But once you start, you know, you're already invested. And that's what it feels like. We start really, really well with Coming to America. Of course, we get the allusion to the film Coming to America. World penis is clean, your highness, thank you, king shit. And then everything from that point forward, it just sounds like we are introducing the Joker. And the Joker is coming to just stomp on you, right? And I love how he just pieces together the entire theme of the Coming to America concept. Because we're already on the idea that he's the prince or the king or he's the ruler of this shit. And everything from this point forward is that of the underground king, you know? These bitches throwing rose petal at my feet, man. They want to spoil me, treating me like royalty. What am I supposed to do? It's such a sweet thing. Work that track, whip them like Kunta, right? But he's saying work that track like... Work the track like the song itself, but also work that track, ho, whip them like Kunta. So we got double plays of power, we got double plays of imagery, and we learned that Luda he actually is lyrical. A lot of the bars we're hearing here, I'll keep it short. He's got a lot of double entendres. You got to catch the entendres, man. The metaphors are there, but he's got a lot of doubles, man. He's really good at this shit, man.
Don't even look at me, ho. Don't pass go. Just go straight to jail with no probation or bail. This
it's not Monopoly.
It's Jolly Green Giants because we smoke so much broccoli.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, Luda's oodles and noodles. But the delivery, man, it's like the delivery takes it past the words we're reading right now. because Luda just put so much life into spaghetti-o, straight from the commercial, right? Luda's oodles and noodles, right? It's like pit bulls put up to poodles, right? My rap career go back further than your father hairline. It's Ludacris.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Like you said, like it works for him, and it's something. It's simple, like spaghetti-o, but the way he delivers it makes it like.
You laugh.
Yeah,
Delivery, the voice, it all
flow.
matches up.
Yeah,
like,
it makes it a little bit lighthearted, kind of fun. Like he's not taking himself too seriously.
But you're still like in
But
this
it's
in the
still-
car, like
but it is serious.
Yeah.
You know, like
and no, but Luda gonna get there in the other
Yeah.
tracks, like Go to Sleep Ho and all them shits. He has hard songs, but the songs that I feel like I gravitate towards are the ones that sound like a Southern '90s rapper. And this is the closest one, you know, in that period of time. Of course, this is the 2000s, guys. Please forgive me. But this is the closest thing that I saw him styling on a song, doing kind of the whole Big L punchline style, but it's just coated in this clever aura that you can't duplicate. It feels like Wayne a little bit, but it's not Wayne. But it feels like it because he can really layer so many ideas. I mean, the Monopoly bar alone was crazy, right?
Yeah.
But we move right past it because after the Monopoly bar, he's already on Jolly Green Giants and then SpaghettiOs. But what is the connection? Jolly Green Giant and SpaghettiOs both come in cans, cheap food that niggas get. So all the pictures are there, man. Testing me is like pit bulls put up to poodles, right? Like you're gonna be devoured, right? So I love how he's able to give you the visual, man. I'm fly. Even when I get high, I work cash and even got my coach bumped up to first class. He got his coach bumped up to first class.
I was laughing at the hairline one.
I'm boss to all employees, and I'm here to teach the principle because I've been saved by more bells than Lark Voorhees. Saved by the bell play. So I mean, everything connects though. I'm boss to all employees, so I'm here to teach the principle, right? So the principal is the boss of all the employees of school, right? So I'm boss to all employees, and I'm here to teach the principle because I've been saved by more bells than Lark Voorhees. So we go from the bell to the saved by the bell play. He's going there, man. He knows what he's doing. And when we were like listening for this for the podcast, I was catching more lines than I ever caught. Yeah. He has so many fucking layers. It's scary, man. I like the transitions where you have people talking about Ludacris and they're mad at him and shit, right? Man, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Man, fuck
Still
you.
wants to be on a feature,
Right.
but he's all, man, suck anyway.
Right.
Like,
Fuck you too. What you gonna do, scrawny nigga? Right. But once again, what I'm gonna talk more about on this whole thing is delivery. The way he's putting it on the song, right? Man, fuck you, man. Fuck you. Fuck you too. It's just, he sounds like he's 20 feet larger than he actually is, right? What you gonna do, scrawny nigga? But I got an arsenal of automatics down to 22s. Know how to use them, fight dirty as shit. The way he says it. Like, I can't picture another MC rhyming this verse the way he did.
So I just thought of something right now. Like the only person that I'm thinking of that like has his own unique sound and presentation that is equally as theatric, but is also so different than Ludacris is DMX.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought about that right now. I'm like, yeah, there's like, because I'm thinking of like unique voices, and I was like mystical, but
Mystical, no, that's good.
But DMX is just like that. Like you want to hear, like if you want to hear X gonna give it to you, you'd want that wide space, all that. Same thing with like most Ludacris songs. You're gonna want a big concert for that.
Oh yeah, no.
So
no,
yeah, that's
got
what I
you.
just thought of right now when I was thinking. I was just sounding, hearing how he sounds and hearing how he presents the lyrics.
Yeah, I think if anybody wants to really be an artist or an MC, you got to study Luda to get your delivery right. And what Luda sounds like okay,
agree.
if we cut to like some other artists today, some artists I've covered, it's just they speak and they make it sound real, right? I went down the block, my homie got shot, right? And you feel it and it's hard and it's visceral and it's like pain. Whereas Luda is like, I went down the block, right? And he there's a different world about his perspective on when he speaks. So it's cartoonish and it's cartoonish in a way because he's gonna talk about some dark shit later, but he's so cartoony, he just makes it sound like jokes. It sounds like a Looney Tune character, like spitting bars.
Yeah.
So every time I listen to Luda, no matter what, he just sounds like a Bugs Bunny or something. No disrespect, it's just that's my perspective on him. He's always marketed himself as this cartoon. So when he spits like this, it's just showing you like the lyrics do matter, but the delivery is what makes you laugh at the punchline.
Yeah.
The delivery is what makes you hear the bar in the first place and go, he just has this way of landing, man.
Yeah.
He lands.
It's like you know it's coming too, but you're still surprised when he delivers that punchline.
Yeah, because even he'll further down into the song, he
You got it all wrong, like women in tuxedos, but
Yeah,
coming up short of like five Danny DeVitos.
He even goes with he even mentions like gun talk and like, you know, this is his brief, like a brief look into the violent side of his lyrics. But then after that, you'll see my example at the end of it. He's like, bring that shit back. Don't want to hear that click clack. Tons of funds with guns. Fuck up the little chit chat. Get back. Get that. Who knows who goes there, motherfuckers? Is Papa Bear. Stop and stare, pouring out little gasoline, then drop a flare. Dude, so it's fire. He's giving you the gun talk. He's giving you all that, but then he's like,
and he's double
talking
time
back,
and it's double time. Yeah. The whole verse is double time.
And
you're right. That verse right there is double time.
He's able to weave out of it and let you know still it's like, hey, we can still have fun with gas and flares this time with Papa Bear.
There's a couple of things that I think what works with Ludacris is that, okay, you know, from Fantasy, he was doing double time there. Mm-hmm. But like later on, you know, you start to hear him not actually be that the entire time. Like he can deliver slow. Mm-hmm. He can a wide range. He could go double time if you want him to, but he can also like do it in slow-mo almost. Yeah. You know, the way he delivers.
A very skilled jack of all trades for sure, because you're talking about all these different songs that he's had throughout like 2 albums. Yeah. And these are his, you know, in the eyes of the major label, these are 2 of his first albums. It's the freshman effort and it's the dreaded sophomore effort, but this sophomore effort, it's nothing to dread about. This is all positive.
No sequelitis. This is it.
Yeah. So it's cool. And another thing to add to his his ability, early 20s came out both of these albums.
Yes.
And he has this lyrical prowess already, so it's only going to get better.
Yes. And for this track in particular, as the opener, we get a lot of the character. Character is really important, especially in this game, because, you know, we have to like you when you talk and be around us, right? So there's a lot of characters in regards to him as an MC and the background shit, right? People are talking between each verse and they have something to say. One dude doesn't like him. He's not getting him a feature. He's talking crazy to him. Another one, the dude sounds like he's speaking complete gibberish, right? See it, man. Shit, go with the purple, all that shit. That's a Southern dude. He's just talking about how Southern he is. I've heard men talk like that when I lived in Atlanta. It's terrifying because they're very serious. Hey, man, you go up to Oklahoma, Atlanta. Yeah, man, I just walk away. And then the last little joint at the end, right? He got somebody's like, if you going down at 285, you go past Cascade, you go past on Camden Road before you get to Camp Creek, shot it, just shake, right? He's just saying, get the fuck out of there. I know all these areas, and all these areas are not areas you should be. But it's just funny, man. He's just showing you some street shit. So as far as an opener, handled it. I think this one right here is like one of my favorites for a sophomore opener, because I remember me, John, all the homies, we just play this one all the time, man. So yeah, this one's dope. Rollout is dope, but that's not one of our next favorites. But Rollout is, I just wanted to note, it's a perfect blend of regular time rapping and double time rapping. He's just going back and forth, and he's doing it in a poppy way. He's not Eminemming it where he goes double time for 8 bars. He just double times for maybe 2 bars or maybe 4. But it's really dope.
I like that Rollout shows his framework for most of his hit singles, where it's a lot of emphasis on the hook. It's a lot of emphasis on the chorus. Mm-hmm. I think that's a unique ability. That's to have that ability is almost as important to having the great verses in between them. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of really good rappers like focusing on those. And that kind of leads away from commercial success sometimes.
Right. But I guess we could say...
But that plays to his ability on that.
I was going to say, for me, for Rollout, I think Rollout showed me a lot about Ludacris, because from that song, the story I get, you know, he's getting a lot of questions like, dude, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
like,
no, how'd you get all this?
How are you, like, in the top of the rap game right now? Like,
and you
where
underground.
Are you getting all this? And he's basically saying, like, you know, like, don't worry about it. I'm working, like, behind the scenes. I'm hustling. So it's not just talent you're seeing. You're seeing a guy who hustled to get to where he's at.
Yes.
And it's not like he just was granted this. He earned everything he got. So Rollout kind of showed me a lot of that. Like, oh, this guy earned his way here.
Yeah.
It wasn't
showing
like
a success to, the efforts and
the
end results of that.
And he's a hard worker. Not only is he just here, but he's a hard worker.
And the curveball of a pop song about braggadocio shit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the curveball, because on the other end, it would be, I got the biggest car ever, right? I have the biggest rims ever. I have all the money ever.
Right.
But in this context, he flipped it. The other person's looking at him like, how do you have so much money?
Like they're envying
Yeah.
him.
How do you have that car?
Yeah.
Right. And the punchline is simply because I have it. Like you're the hater and you're already asking me questions, meaning you've addressed that I got it. So I like that context of how he put it together, man. I don't want to be a nerd about it, but you have to consider this whole game. The entire game of Monopoly we're watching. Ludacris is from the South in a East and West war.
And he carved
his way in. Yeah. And I like the idea that he didn't use an angle that West and East uses. Right. And that's what I like about it.
Or even stayed unique too, because you barely hear his Southern drawl at all. If
and we were watching that documentary, they said one piece to that was that because he was actually born and raised in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh yeah, that's correct.
But moved to Atlanta, I think, during high school years.
Okay.
So that's why he doesn't really have that draw. But it also, Atlanta kind of accepted him still because of what he did, his importance to bringing out the South, I think hip hop wise.
Well, maybe we needed a Chicago kid over there
to kind of help do that.
I learned a lot of people trace back to Chicago. Something about Chicago, man. We got to figure that math out, man.
That is true.
So for the next one, man, we had
oh, you know what? Real
this
quick?
is Zay's favorite.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Which one are you talking about?
Keep it on the hushes next.
Oh yeah.
Keep it on the hushes next.
Okay. But you know what? Before we get into that, really quick, I wanted to ask you, Andre, because we just got done with this intro here. Now, prior to that, he had his first debut album.
Yeah, back for the first time.
Okay, the sound of that. How was it from the sound of that to now coming into this, like that
Terminator
transition?
1 to Terminator 2.
Okay.
Quality wise, like the budget jumped up big time, and Ludacris's confidence as an MC, I believe, was a lot larger, a lot more prevalent, because just he sounds like he knows his character now.
Yeah.
And back for the first time, it's like Luda is rapping, right? He's really rapping. He sounds like an MC from Atlanta. And he sounds like he got the moves, but he's an MC from Atlanta. Word of mouth to me it's Atlanta music, but it feels like Ludacris is an isolated energy. It's not about ATL. It's not about East Coast or West Coast. It's just Ludacris is just this isolated style that I feel like if I never would have heard him, or if even my students, right? A lot of my students are fans of Ludacris, and it's because of how he uses words. And this is a good example of swag winning in some areas. If you're not saying the words right, people don't care. And Ludacris is able to describe events so well that he could underwrite rhymes, right? He doesn't have to hibbity-bibbity lyrically. He could really kind of pull back on the rhyming because his expression of the words themselves feel like flows.
And they need space.
They need space, but
do.
they feel like flow. Like he's like doing another thing on top of it.
True.
And
another layer to
it. It's like Johnny Depp rapping almost. It's just he could do whatever he wants, and it just lands. Everything that Luda does.
I was gonna say his first album is a great platform to leap off of. To this now, because it feels like he's like going from Atlanta, like you were saying, but
to
like
his own
to a
zone.
more commercial mass.
Yeah.
To appealing to the masses. In other words.
Yeah.
With this album,
and I think the Timbaland lead single that caught a lot of us.
That did it.
I mean, because Timbaland will change your life. So yeah, that Timbaland led single really kept things moving. Saturday, I feel like Saturday got a lot of people into him too. Saturday was a really good song. Ooh, it's just something about that flow. He has the anchored flow that he has.
Mark mentioned that he definitely figured out his formula.
Yeah,
somewhere.
No, because consider the fact that he's writing songs.
Yeah.
He's a songwriter, right? He's not rapping.
It's just not the verses.
Yeah, it's not just the verses. He could write hooks. If I could complain about anything on this album, it's some of the production, right? But that's time. We're just arguing with time. But as far as what Luda has done performance-wise, he's not falling off in any area. He doesn't fall in the performance area.
That's a good strength to have, though, too. I mean, it's when you talk about songwriting, again, with just a lot of lyrical based MCs, they're only thinking about those verses, and that's the hook is where
sometimes you can get lost so much in the verse.
It's almost like he's really good at his verse, but he's really, really good at the hook and the bridge and
bringing
all that.
You in energy.
The theme, the overall concept of the album of the song.
Multifaceted in that area.
Multifaceted, man. So let me ask you, why did you pick Keep it on the hush out of all the fucking joints we could have picked.
Keep It on the Hush. I felt like,
It's like, I want to keep that secret.
you know,
I can't talk about it.
no, I thought
The churchy vibe.
because there was a track right before that too. I thought the transition, first of all, was like a pretty smooth transition to Keep It on the Hush,
Yeah.
which was Saturday.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about Saturday, and then he goes on to Keep It on the Hush. Kind of feels like a Sunday morning because it starts at church, you know. So it's like, so I felt like it was almost a continuation when I was listening to it through, and I was like, this is a nice change up because now I feel like I'm at church Sunday, and then it starts off pretty funny because the priest is, or not the priest, the pastor or whatever is kind of like looking at the churchgoers and he's like kind of calling out people
Calling them out.
Yeah, for like, you know, kind of stumbling in from last night or being hungover or whatever. You know, it's kind of, you know, pointing them out. And
like
so then I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is going to be about church or something like that. But no, he switches it up and he's talking about like, you know, just keeping things on the low, you know, with this, I don't know, side girl or his main girl. I'm not sure, but
Well, can I ask you this? Do you think Luda provided a delivery that another MC couldn't do?
I do think he did. Yeah. And this goes again to the songwriting because I felt like this was a journey here from Saturday to Sunday, and now him with this girl. Like I felt like there was a story developing here, but I also felt like it was different from him just throwing that, you know, sexual, you know, innuendos and stuff. But he was actually telling a story in a way, and his delivery was also reminiscent of his work that he did with Usher and Lil Jon, you know, that style.
Yeah,
I heard,
but that's a flow though. That's like
a flow.
It's his flow, and it's like
flow.
I hate talking about flows because I hear other people talk about flows. They sound so white. The way that he articulates his words, right? No, but it's just the way that he ran a flow. He has an R&B flow.
Pillow, like,
Yeah. He has
lets
an R&B
It's
flow.
very soft at the end of it.
Yeah, he always hangs.
Give it a minute, hugstable. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
and
stuff like
he
that.
hangs off the edge on the
Yeah.
last word.
So he did
You're
that
one of those
here.
flexible girls. I think your
Definitely did
daddy
that
always
here.
said you was the best in the world, but nevertheless in this world, I'm just professional, girl. Teach him a lesson and have him stressing and confessing to girls. How many fucking rhymes did he put in that bitch?
Yeah.
But it's one of these joke songs, or it kind of comes off as a joke song.
Right.
Once again, that cartoonish nature of some shit he's talking about, he's just put it in a character that's funny.
Yeah.
But the way that he putting these bars together is just incredible. But nevertheless, in this world, I'm just professional, girl. Teach them a lesson, have them stressing and confessing to girls how good it was and how good it could be if they just tried it, taking my double dose and skip the daily dick diet. Like,
Yeah.
I love the character that he puts on this one.
Yeah.
Man. Facts.
And I felt like this was digestible, even as like kind of a sexual song. It was still digestible. The beat itself made you feel still comfortable. And I like sometimes when rappers, like, you know,
Try something new.
talk to the woman, like, you know, this is him being personal with his woman and like just saying, Mark, no.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but but I felt like, you know, this was, and I like when, like, who else does this? Ja Rule sometimes will kind of like go into that avenue, like I want to like do you in the alley or something, like kind of, you know, out there.
Yeah.
And I like it when rappers aren't afraid to go
It's
there.
like Big Pun when he was doing Still Not a Player.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah, I like that. I like when rappers aren't afraid to, like, you know, get sexual.
Yeah.
You know? And
But it's once again, it's not a straightforward sexual song.
Right.
It's coded behind like a Weird Al Yankovic concept.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a parody, but it's like it's funny. You know, it's funny. It's humorous, and there's character to it. You know, I'm gonna keep saying character just to get that in the air.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's inside one of the pews just talking to his side chick.
talking
the
to
whole
a
time,
side chick
yeah.
from exactly
Because then you get the intro of the pastor in the beginning and at the end.
so this must be like a church.
Yeah, because at the end he's
Girl
like,
or
"Look at you,
something."
Sister Johnson, in the front row with thongs on, your legs open, trying to tempt me."
Yeah, so that's why I chose the song, because I felt like it was a full, complete song. It felt like a story. I felt like his style was here, definitely. There was a lot of substance, and it was digestible. The beat was cool. I liked the beat. It was a good change up. But I mean, there was definitely others, but I just felt like this one was just that one that I would go back and just, you know, listen to, like, because I thought it was cool.
I got you. It's like a perfect blend of serious and goofy.
Yeah, exactly. So
And then it rolls right into word of mouth.
Yeah,
yes.
And you know, it's the title track, and it's a sequel to the freestyle track that they had in Back for the First Time. They did a little freestyle joint where they were beatboxing, spit some sick bars and called it a day. This one is the sequel to that, and whoever produced it, it wasn't beatbox live, but they produced around the beatboxing. And I just thought the beat was crazy. I thought it sounded so organic when I initially heard it when I was a kid. Yeah. I really thought they were beatboxing, and
it reminded me of that Virgil song he did with Nas.
Yeah.
It reminded me.
It felt so alive. Yeah, it felt real. This whole track just felt real, and then I didn't think about it till today. It was like, oh, the track is word of mouth. It's the title track. No. So this to me feels like the idea of what Ludacris is.
Why do you think he made? Like why do you think that connects? Because it says it in the title of freestyle. Like, why do you think he made that the title for
the song the song to correlate with the album? There's a lot
of big songs here. There's a lot of big songs in his whole complete album.
I got you. No, I feel like
but word of mouth feels like kind of that one that's a little different in here in the midst of all this.
Well, I think the punchline is it's word of mouth. So I mean, dude is beatboxing and he's rapping. Word of mouth is like a local hero, right? Everybody knows him from word of mouth. Right. That's why he's so popular in the single with the Timbaland joint. Yeah. So I thought that this whole freestyle to me was representative of what he does with his friends, and he's trying to make it sound like he's just chilling outside and kicking some dope verse, but it's really a studio produced track.
It could be, it's like for notoriety, or even just for him verbatim of just being an orator of just kicking a freestyle.
Of the
and this is all, like, if we're going to use the Fast X example, this is him. This is him with his lyrics and like opening up the Nos tank a little bit, because this is all lyrics. This is not not a lot of presentation to it, but it's like a lot of emphasis is brought to this lyrically.
It feels real, man. It feels authentic, like it's a real cipher that somebody had a microphone on.
This did, out of the entire album, this felt like the most like undergroundish, hip hopish part of the album.
Absolutely,
it felt like that.
Mm-hmm. But he's rhyming, man.
He's rhyming.
No, but they're both rhyming. It's not just Luda on this one.
No, it's just Luda.
No, it's Luda and Four Eyes. I remember I was kicking with the homies and we would listen to Luda's part, and every time Four Eyes came on, it was the next track. Right, just skip the feature, bro. I don't know, man. How do y'all feel when you hear a feature on an album that you just want to hear your artist, and as soon as you hear the feature, you're just like, I'm gonna skip you. But anyway, he opens. The open is hard though. Check it. You see, I live a life filled with chicken and malt liquor and women that are real life scratches, sniff stickers. I shoot videos and get knob slobbed in trailers, then hit stage and break a leg like Lawrence Taylor. So, he's doing the punch style, right? We getting a punch every couple bars, or every bar at least. So he's got punches on this shit. It just feels organic. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a pop song or a song written for the industry. It feels like he had a dope ass verse and his homie Four Eyes had a dope ass verse, and they just came together on this beat that they orchestrated and made, but it just sounds organic, man. But I just thought the Lawrence Taylor line was sick. Everything he spits.
Let's give him credit to knowing a lot about professional wrestling. There's also I got Junkyard Dogs. Shout out to JYD. I'm rowdier than Rod Piper, and my baby's assed out because I rub my cars with their diapers. His I like how Four Eyes at the end of this, he goes with a double meaning with super fly like Snuka, Superfly the actual the 50s blaxploitation hero. Super fly like Snuka, I smack hoes, the black rolls with the dozen attack flows. I rock Shaq's clothes when I alter beast, power up. Get big, it's disturbing the peace. So like on Altered Beast, remember?
Yeah.
When you got bigger, power up. Yeah, I like that part. So it's like, I like the common ground of like, if you actually get the gems of learning about Junkyard Dog, Roddy Piper, or Superfly Snuka, and Superfly the pimp, and Altered Beast, I'm like, dude, this is a real treat for people around this time, like teenagers around this time.
Yes, man.
Especially with me, I was flipping out, listening to it on the way to work. I'm like, damn, okay, heck yeah, I get what they're talking about on this one.
I rep more parcels, Chi-Town could get seen. I'm a dirty bird now, but I keep shit clean. Yeah, I rip mean-faced niggas one by one or two by two. I'll take them however they come. Instead of a gun, I'll pull out a stick from woodworking. And then there we go from the Hacksaw Jim Duggan line. So, yeah, man, everything is dope, man. Luda rhyme-wise and character-wise wins, of course. Four Eyes just sounds like he's spitting and kicking it with him. But Luda is the standout. Of course, super rapper, as I always mentioned. Yeah. There's always a super rapper. So Ludacris is the super rapper in this equation. But I remember just going crazy on this one, specifically this one when I was younger. I played this one on loop so many times. I just thought it was real. I think I kept listening to see, like, how did you record this? I kept trying to figure it out. Like, there's no way you got a bunch of people to beatbox and make it that clean, right?
Yeah.
But as far as how they put it together and the production on this shit, it's just fantastic. Now, overall, because that was our last favorite, the production on this, at the time, I was in love with it, right? Some of these beats have aged, and I feel the age. But they also sound like the age of the South. It sounds like the South in the 2000s. I was like, man, that's what the South was sounding like. And then when you got the Timbaland joint, it just takes you in another plateau. Like, oh, it's another frequency of skill. And then we come back to some of the beats that he got from ATL. So it's like the production value to me is a wavelength. It's just like superb, and then ATL, superb ATL. So production wise, I thought it was great. But Luda as an MC on this one, I feel like he evolved substantially, man. And everything after that, every effort that follows this one is just emphasis on how well he did on Word of Mouth.
Yeah, because
Terminator 2.
And like Terminator, he comes out with a bunch of albums, but better than all the other Terminator movies after that.
We'll only reference Word of Mouth.
From 1999 to 2015, he comes out with nine albums. Yeah. That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw him everywhere.
Collab album.
From the whole 2000s, dude was everywhere. He was in
Don't
movies,
forget the feature game, man.
Rap City.
Features.
He did Rap City,
yeah.
TRL.
Yeah.
He did his tours, and even now, like he's even opening up for Janet Jackson on her tours.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, your mom.
Yeah.
Are y'all going to that show or no?
My mom, they usually give comp tickets out, but I know for 2 shows they're not going to give comp tickets. It's Janet Jackson.
And
it's
Kevin
the
Hart.
2 that I want to do.
Yeah, Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, Janet Jackson, and Kenny Loggins.
For the audience who doesn't know, right near us there's a casino called the Yamava.
That doesn't sponsor us.
It sounds like your mother to me.
They don't sponsor us at all, by the way. But they've been attracting these big name artists lately.
Yeah.
And so their lineup is like crazy stacked, and they're like 15 minutes away from us.
Erykah
I bugged
U2.
out when they got. I was like, Kenny Loggins is doing his last show at Yamava.
Mm-hmm.
His last show of doing any music, he's doing it at Yamava. And now
Santana, they had Santana. They had a lot of.
They got New Kids on the Block.
New Kids on the Block, yeah. Tiffany Haddish, I think.
So yeah, so he's still doing work, even with all the 18 Fast and Furious movies that they're releasing. He's still opening up, is still performing.
So they're doing a live rendition of Fast X.
Fast X for the theater.
Now I wanted to just maybe even honorable mention for like you mentioned Crybabies. I actually did have an ear for Crybabies too on this.
Crybabies.
And I was wondering, like, when I was listening to it, I was like, because I know he was like a shot to the chest and something to the dome, and I was wondering, is this like, who was he like shooting at? Because
nah, it's just to me, it's another. I typically for the show pick songs where you see the witticism of the rhymer, the character of the rhymer, what they're capable of. And to me, Crybabies fits in this category because he's just spitting bars. I think the beat might be something that people don't like about it. And that's fair because it took me a while to like sit through this one. Yeah. But I got people scared as fuck, like when condoms break or when your heart deals with eating 80 pounds of steak. The intro alone, though, just how the way he emphasizes fuck, right? He says it's so different from anybody I've ever heard. It just kept me listening, man. But put your belly on a plate and watch your weight. You frost it like a flake and Ludacris feels great. So he did the commercial play. So everything he's doing on this shit is just punches. This is why I picked it. It's just punches, and punches, man. This is one of the joints where it's just a consistent punch fest and it feels like a Wayne track. And when I say it feels like a Wayne track, it's like relentless. He's just gonna punch until the hook happens.
I started realizing that he has a lot of innuendos here with cops too, because he's like,
I play stations, duck cops, and lose agents. I'm Dr. Love. I close curtains and fuck patients.
I kick your rip and flip an indispensable rhyme. My black ass is so hungry, I'll take a
bite out of crime.
Shout out to McGruff.
And it'll hurt if I swallow. Wait, but he's still following up though. So all of his lines
Shout
follow
out
up.
to McGruff. I thought we would never come to the point where we'd say that.
McGruff will always get love from the homies here. You know what I'm saying? That's hip hop. Is mad love from McGruff.
We officially got to that
We're
point.
gonna start wearing Dare shirts.
Shout out to crime dogs of any kind, man. But yeah,
this line was nice. Neighbors called the fire station off
the blunt that I smoke. You see, I crush cowards. Funerals, I send flowers. I'm on the overpass, flick pennies at rush hour. Fucking cars up. So it's just, he's just doing, ignorant shit, man. Ignorant shit. I like this guy.
Oh, no. Mahalo put a hole in his chest. Oh, no.
I put two to his dome.
Oh, no.
Cry babies go home. You see, I'm ambidextrous. I slap ass with both hands. Delete your first steps, but I'll save the last dance. So first steps, last dance. So he got the juxtapositions. He does it, man.
I'm a sack king like Chris Webber.
Oh, I'm a sack king like Chris Webber. Right? Come on, man. Sacramento Kings. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, there's so much in this, man. Oh, wait, where is it? I just bought some new guns. My mama said it ain't worth it, but I'm at the shooting range just because practice makes perfect. So he still got the guns and he's still using them. I got a Wheel of Fortune because I flip O's like Vanna White. And survey says kill a mother now. Could be off with Shoot
his head.
a motherfucker now. Right?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Ground round, ground chuck, your ground beef, bullets gathered round, then I shoot rounds around teeth.
Yes, man.
So when I was listening to this,
such good wordplay.
Oh, yeah, man.
There is tiny hints here. Like he's doing at the shooting range. He's practicing his shot, bullseye, all this stuff. And then he's like, put one through your vest. And I was like, who though? Who is he saying like to check?
Yeah, no, it's to me it's.
But there's some police like references.
It's the ops, man.
It's almost like a little innuendo here.
No, it's a New York. It's a New York braggadocio track with Southern swag. I kick niggas in they ass, reboot them like laptops, and they wouldn't even box if I gave them a flat top.
Yeah.
So it's.
I'd want to say that Ludacris has this ability to. Shit. He can get more lyrical.
Oh yeah, that's what I think.
But this is the hot take. Do we want him to get that lyrical at the expense of this theatrical presentation? Because if he does get more lyrical,
then you lose that. You lose that.
Okay,
you lose the delivery.
Well, I was just talking to you guys about Ludaversal. Ludaversal feels like what you just said. It feels like he leaned more towards lyricism and flow changes and switches and stuff like that. And he didn't pull back on the delivery, but it doesn't sound like word of mouth. It's not brilliant, and it's like when I think of Ludacris saying words, I bite my lips and shit like bear. Like I have to bite my teeth before I say bear. Like that's how hard he says words. Yeah. But on Ludaversal, he's rapping his ass off, and it's technical. There we go. It's not lyrical, it's technical. He's very technical on this one. First track, he's double timing the whole track. He's doing all the tricks. But word of mouth feels like he's accepted as who he is, and he doesn't have to prove much more than what he's already proven, and he's just doing a better job at it. Whereas Ludaversal feels like y'all don't believe in me, and then he, you know what I'm saying? It almost feels like y'all don't like me no more, and he has to go hard. Yeah. Whereas word of mouth feels like y'all fuck with me. Right. Yeah. And it's a lot of love for him. Yeah. It just felt organic. And at the age I loved him. He was fun to watch. Yeah. He had some of the most entertaining music videos. That visuals matter. So at the time as a little kid, I was impressionable. He reminded me of cartoons. I liked him. So the later Luda, very technical. And he did pull some of that delivery back, but he's still Luda. You know what I mean?
Luda.
He's still Luda. Blowing shit up in Fast X, Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
And he's a great hacker.
He's a great hacker.
All of a sudden
knows all this computer knowledge.
Tej is a big old
why
hacker.
To that though? Like what I was reading about him is he got his first big break in Fast and Furious, or Too Fast, Too Furious.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
He got his big break into acting, and he said that was great for him because Too Fast, Too Furious, you don't have to be a great actor.
Yeah, he was only in it for a cup of coffee, like the first race.
And he also was featured in The Wash, I believe, as well.
Oh, yeah, small features.
So, but then he got his big break on Crash.
Yeah, Crash was dope.
But he couldn't have got that Crash
as the cop, right? He was one of the cops.
I think so.
No, he wasn't one of the cops. He was just one of the criminals.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just kind of one of the fuck ups.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but he wouldn't have got that if he hadn't.
He was the one that robbed Brendan Fraser. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, he was the one that was robbing Brendan Fraser in the beginning. Yeah. He was talking about, man, I'm tired of these stereotypes of black men and stuff like that.
Yes, you're right.
Oh man, that's a trip.
It was him and his buddy or something like that.
Yeah,
so he wouldn't have got that though if it wasn't for Too Fast, Too Furious or The Wash. But he said he's only doing Fast and the Furious, the franchise, only if they developed his character. Otherwise, he said, I'm not going to do it because he knows he was playing a character as Luda. Yeah. Like he was playing Luda, but there was a point where it was like, I'm not going to do it if I don't have any development. Like if you're not developing my character as like the catalyst to all this, I'm not doing it.
Well, if you watch Fast 10, you will be sitting in the theater like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, they blocked our frequency spectrum analyzer.
Luckily, he has a cell phone that differentiates all the signals, so he'll be good for a while.
We'll reduce the blockchain as soon as possible. It's like, what the fuck?
Every location they had, it was the same software interface.
Yeah, same fucking computer.
Everyone got their computer stolen. Oh, I think I got it. 3 screens. Each place had 3 screens and the same interface. I was like, what the heck? Like, I guess we could just pick up and go and
It is.
find interfaces.
They blocked our servers. Like, I just, the whole idea that like Luda's this, computer hacker identity.
Should put cannabis in.
Oh my, yeah, put cannabis
Yeah,
to replace
yeah.
Tyrese. No,
He'd
cannabis can be
method act.
Tyrese's opposite. And they can battle it out. But nah, Luda to me, that personality, right, in the bars, it pops in his acting and he utilizes acting
and
techniques.
you see
right?
how smart of a dude this guy is. Like he's not just singularly like driven. He's multifaceted. He's smart. He's earning everything he's getting. Like
and give it back to the community
and
too.
giving back on top of that. Luda is dope.
Dope as fuck.
He's dope.
Quick note on Ludaversal, he has a song called "Grass Is Greener." It's literally the conversation we're having, and Luda's just talking about, I want to do this, but y'all want this. He's like, I start doing movies, y'all want me to do verses. I start doing verses, y'all want me to do movies. He does it the whole song is a back and forth of how he feels. I stopped smoking weed because I got tired of being high. Then I went to the club and smelled it and tried it again. Like, he was doing this whole concept. It was really dope. And to me, that song is really representative of Luda entirely. He can do all of it, but we don't know what we want from him. We don't know if we want him in the movies. We don't know if we want him to be super lyrical. We don't know if we want to be on the feature shit again. Right. I liked his feature run. His feature run was really good.
It's not a jack of all trades, but he's definitely very successful at a lot of trades. Oh, yeah. Not just a jack, but he is honestly great at a lot of trades.
Yeah, if he can produce, man, he would be unstoppable.
Oh man,
but
he'd have all the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So without a doubt, though, the Infinity Stones that he does have is the Flow Stone, the Performance Stone, and the Rhyme Stone.
Double Time Stone.
the Time Stone. Yeah, there you go. You got the Double Time Stone.
Double Time Stone.
So yeah, he definitely got enough stones, man.
Double Time Stone.
But no, word of mouth. Just overall, if I can give my overall idea of word of mouth, it was really a great transition from a first public effort, first commercial effort, and the follow up. He didn't get hit with the sequelitis. He was phenomenally better.
A great example of something that didn't fall to that sophomore slump.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, definitely, man. That we had to cover this one.
I do. I mean, I have to mention it just because it's so big on this track or this album as well. Your thoughts on area codes? I have to get your opinion about it.
Area codes is one of the most like okay. Once again, from a songwriter's perspective, right? Area codes is once again we're reading into that braggadocio I got hoes concept, but he made it funny. I say Weird Al Yankovic in my head, but it's not a parody. It's just a different take on what we hear already. A bunch of rappers at that time were really straightforward. I got bitches and I'm having sex right now, right? And in Luda's situation, it's like I got a funny scenario where I end up having sex at the end, right? But he coats it with talent and skill, and he writes that bitch. He writes it so well. So Area Codes to me is dope, but I feel like Move Bitch as a commercial song is bigger, right? Area Codes as a commercial song works. The edited version is hilarious.
It's a classic, like,
what is
Nate
a pro?
Dogg,
I got pros. Yeah, you got Nate Dogg on the track, but I got pros.
There's nothing better than successful gentlemen questioning why they have hoes. Is it because my gangster walk?
Is it you like my gangsters hard?
They have mad hoes, but they still question it. Successful men, successful rappers,
wealthy men with plenty of women still trying to figure out why.
Trying to question why.
What is this?
I feel like Snoop Dogg was mad he wasn't on this track.
Shit, it does sound like it was Snoop Dogg's song. It sounds like it sounded like they were giving it to Snoop and Luda got it.
Somehow, yeah.
It sounded like Luda got it.
Yeah, because Nate was already in it. Well, we got Nate Dogg in this package already.
Yeah. But area codes is solid, but Move Bitch can be played anywhere. Move Bitch, you could turn that on in comedy movies. You could turn it on in a serious action film. Yeah, you could have a serious action. You could have a Schwarzenegger movie with Move Bitch, and it will make sense.
Just the instrumental in sports arenas too. That thing's timeless.
That's what a lot of artists do now, though. Too, they make music specifically to be used in movies, or they make music for a soundtrack. Actually, which is interesting. What's your like?
Look at Montel Jordan. Montel Jordan was probably the best example of like having one song that you could play on a Friday night forever, for eternity.
Yes, forever. Move Bitch works for so many contexts, but I think the what made it really move was the energy was on it. Yeah, so much energy on that song, man. It makes you want to punch. It makes you want to run. You could play it for football compilation clips. You could play it in so many different ways. Whereas area codes, mystical. Here I go. Oh,
like if this track wasn't hyped enough,
he just raised it another level.
The decibels you see them headlights? You hear that fucking crowd? Start that goddamn show. I'm coming through.
Man.
So that energy was so intense, man. In the club, if I hear it today, we still go crazy.
Yeah, we go crazy.
Move Bitch to me has more of from a creative writing stance, from a pop song stance, it fits everywhere, right? It's like the Guile theme song almost. Yeah. Move Bitch goes with everything. But Area Codes to me was a cleverly written song for the pop audience.
Yeah, it was.
But Move Bitch wins. That's how I feel about it. Because Area Codes is clever. It works.
This speaks to like, the features that he had on this album too. Big names in this album.
Producers
like Twista, he had Twista, he had Jagged Edge.
Bangladesh did the opening joint.
Swizz Beatz, Timberland,
Gary Vaynerchuk, I think, had a beat on
Disturb the Peace. He had his crew.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
He
was the one that did Mystical's verse. Here I come. Here I come.
Oh, don't crush, bitch, move.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
But I definitely feel like this album was an evolution of Luda. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
from
the first,
he found his formula for sure. Progress on this album.
Progress for sure.
So I feel like it just, he was nominated for a Grammy, like that, and then he goes on. I think he goes on and he does eventually hit #1, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know which album.
It might have been this one.
I think he succeeds even this though.
Maybe Chicken and Beer. Or
maybe I think it was. I think it was maybe that. That might be one. But I mean, it just shows you that Luda is highly respected from everybody in the hip hop game.
Everybody.
I've always and I'm a person who loved the underground hip hop scene and kind of that even the conscious movement. But even I have respect for Luda and his presence, and I know the impact he's had on hip hop in the early 2000s, for the South. Luda came in and just made his own lane out here, and everybody had to respect it. Yeah. So when you brought up Luda, I was just like, let's do Luda. He deserves that. He deserves the flowers that, if anybody could put on for him, hopefully us. Luda. I don't see a lot of people actually do too many. I mean, unless I'm wrong, maybe I haven't searched it. But
this is our chance to cover these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of people don't know what hip hop is.
Right.
We're just trying to figure out what
that's.
We're just trying to find
it
that's
could be.
hip hop. We're looking at the subject. It's like that's hip hop.
According to our calculations, that's hip hop.
Imagine we had a little fax machine.
a literal
according
fax
to
machine.
our calculations, this is hip hop, guys. All this technology, we still have a fax coming through.
A literal fax machine. FACTS.
Yeah.
It sounds like Morse code for some reason.
Yeah,
Donnie from Wild Thornberry. But yeah, man.
I definitely think this album for sure did solidify him. And he's had ever since he's had commercial success. Yeah. So you'll still, probably see him in a strong feature again with another artist. Oh, yeah.
And 5 other Fast and Furious movies.
And still doing his acting thing.
Yep.
So, I'm glad that you guys picked him, man. catch his movie.
If we could do some promotion for the Fast and Furious franchise, make sure you guys go watch Fast X.
Go watch Fast X, and when you go in the theater, have no context of reality with you. Don't even bring the laws of physics.
Gravity.
Don't bring physics. Don't bring science in any form.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's what you'll say when you leave the theater. At the end of the credits, you'll go,
Find out in 30 years.
what did Fast X mean?
Find out in 30 years.
Oh man, that's gonna always get me.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so we continue on to our journey of going through albums by albums. Who knows what will be next?
What area codes will venture off into?
Right.
Just keep it on the hush.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for your support. We continue to venture on forward. Join us on the next episode. We're dropping every Monday, and we appreciate you guys. Much love and respect.
Peace.
Peace. Luda!